We've got the NHL Network top 20 defenseman list locked and loaded. And yes, Miro, Heiskanen, and Thomas Harley are in the mix. We're also going to take a trip down memory lane and revisit Jere Lehtinen's Selke trophies, plus more ways to watch the Dallas Stars next season.
You're Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer of 105 Through the Fan. Please be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. Welcome back to a Friday edition of Locked On Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. We have a loaded show for you today to kick you off into the weekend. We're going to discuss the NHL Network's top 20 defenseman list, and I've been talking about it for the last month, or really last year, that Thomas Harley is a top 15 NHL defenseman, and yes, he came in the top 15. Find out where he landed. And Miro Heiskanen. We're going to take a trip down memory lane a bit too. Jere Lehtinen and his Selke trophies. I want to do a deep dive on that a bit, so stick around for that. And the Stars are teaming up with Fox 4 next season, so more ways for you to watch the Dallas Stars. And it's easy enough already, but more ways for all you hockey fans out there to consume some Dallas Stars hockey. But let's hop right in to the meat and potatoes of today's show, the NHL Network's top 20 defenseman list. Yes, we love to discuss these lists, and I don't have much to gripe about in the rankings of NHL defensemen, but we'll start where the Dallas Stars defensemen and blue liners come in, Thomas Harley and Miro Heiskanen. And this is sort of a provocation I feel like I've been shouting from the rooftops for a while now, that Thomas Harley has played himself into this top 20 defenseman conversation. And it seems that the NHL Network agrees with me as well. Number 20, you have Brock Faber. Then you have Lane Hutson coming off an amazing rookie season with the Canadiens. Mikhail Sergachev, that was an interesting one. Devon Toews at 17. This is going to turn a lot of heads and I think upset a lot of people. But Adam Fox, number 16, I'm curious where he was last season. For whatever reason, I think he may have been in the top 5. Maybe I'm off on that, but Adam Fox at 16, and I'm not the biggest Adam Fox fan, but that seems a bit low. But then you have Shea Theodore at 15, and then boom, Thomas Harley comes in at number 14 after being unranked last season. He turned a lot of heads in 2024-25, and now he solidified himself as number 14, and I think you could bump him up at least a spot. You have Sanderson there at 13. He's a really good player. I watched him in college at North Dakota. Took a really big step this last year with Ottawa. You have Gustav Forsling, number 12, McAvoy, 11, to round out the first 10 of this top 20 defensemen right now rankings. But Thomas Harley at number 14. And that is a big revelation for the Stars. Now they have two, which I think it's safe to say maybe not elite. Maybe Harley's not ready to be in that elite conversation, but great defenseman at number 14. And you could maybe look at some analytics and other things that could start to turn you in the direction of elite. When it comes to scoring some big-time goals, it feels like he's elite. The overtime winners he scored over the last few seasons, he took a big jump because he had to take over the reins for Miro Heiskanen when he went down with an injury for over 3 months last year. Harley really grew into himself, and the strides he's made are remarkable. Just think back in the 2022 season, the end of that year, he just got brought up for a 6-game stint and just had a bit of a cup of coffee. Obviously had a great postseason a couple years ago, sort of solidified his spot on the roster. And then just boom, the last 2 years, remarkable strides. And now he's in this conversation, and there's talk that it looks like he's solidified maybe even a spot on Team Canada, or my Team USA shirt here on today's episode. But there's talk that he's going to be on the Canadian Olympic team in Italy in the coming year as well. So that is big time news for Harley, and nice to see him getting some recognition, and I think a fair spot. Miro Heiskanen, look, we talk about it all the time. I think he's at least in the top 3 of NHL defensemen. If you just look at all around offense, defense, transition, penalty kill, power play, I think he's comfortably in the top 3. He seems to always be edged out by a couple, though. And Cale Makar and Quinn Hughes, they're going to be there, and they deserve to be there. Cale Makar, a generational defenseman, had another really strong season. He got sent home early by the Dallas Stars once again. Yes, I'm still salty, but who cares? Zach Werenski, he finds himself at number 3, had an amazing year with Columbus. I know a lot of people thought he deserved to even win the Norris. Columbus was an excellent team, excellent story, and they fell short of making the postseason. If they make the playoffs, maybe Werenski does get that nod and was maybe in conversations even for a Hart Trophy just after what they went through, of course, in the offseason. He had a big year, but then we got Miro Heiskanen right there at number 4. That's great to see. Would love to see him crack into the top 3. And what's missing? We talked about it last year. It's the offense. Can he put up 70 points? Can he put up 65 points? North of 65? He's going to jump into that top 3 conversation easily. You have to bring the offensive part of your game to make these lists. And at the end of the day, we're not really worried about this. The Stars are worried about making the Stanley Cup, making the Stanley Cup final, winning the Stanley Cup. But if he does want to elevate his ranking or at least win a Norris, he's got to bring some offense with him. And we've touched on it. That's not his main goal. That's never going to be his forte. I'm not going to try to turn him into something he is not. But we all know what an amazing defender he is and how special of a talent he is that we get to watch him on a nightly basis. We probably take it for granted as Stars fans. And I hope one day he gets the recognition, right? And I know we sort of scoff at some of these awards these days, especially the Norris and how it's given out, but it also affects the legacy of these players. And that's why I think it's so important that Miro wins one of those darn things eventually, because let's face it, it matters in legacy. It matters in making Hall of Fame and things of that nature, all-stars and all that jazz. It's important. And I would like to see Miro win one of those darn things and start to be a regular finalist. If this was 15 years ago, he'd probably be more in the conversation. But with how the award is sort of given out, it's just tough. But this is all to say the Stars are in great hands. They got 2 now. NHL Network agrees top 15 defensemen. By the way, the defenseman behind Miro, for those of you curious, Victor Hedman, 5, Josh Morrissey, 6, Rasmus Dahlin, 7, which I think is a bit low. I think you can move him up to number 5. Jacob Slavin, 8, Roman Josi still in the mix at 9, Evan Bouchard at 10, which may be a bit low as well. I'm coming around on Bouchard a bit. I was not a big fan of his. I think he was that great a couple of years ago, to be fair, to be honest. I was certainly wrong watching him the last couple of years, of course, just dismantle the Stars. He's a good player. He does a lot of good things for Edmonton and deserves to be in that conversation of elite defensemen. But this is great news for the Stars. I mentioned I was really anxiously awaiting this ranking in particular because I wanted to see where Harley was going to fall. And then boom, Harley comes in at 14, Miro at number 4 to round out your top 20 NHL defenseman list. Now, something new I want to do here in the next segment that I've thought about for a bit. I'm curious if you'll like it. I'll describe it a bit more in detail in just a moment as we take a deeper dive and look at Jere Lehtinen's Selke trophies. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Gametime. We've all been there, logging on early and waiting forever for concert tickets to go on sale, only to lose your spot for a show you've been dying to see. Live music should be about making memories, not dealing with the stress of ticket shopping. That's where Gametime comes in. Gametime makes getting concert tickets faster and easier than ever. Prices actually drop as it gets closer to showtime, and you can save up to 60% off with their killer last-minute deals. Tired of endless scrolling, trying to find the best deal? Gametime's zone deals pick the best seats for you in a section for you, and you can see the view from your seat before you buy it. You get a panoramic seat view, so there are no surprises. Take the guesswork out of buying concert tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKED, own NHL for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. So every once in a while, I enjoy listening to deep dives on certain topics, whether it's history or sports, on a numerous amount of podcasts. And I wanted to do something similar to that here, and maybe something we do a bit more regularly, sort of a Dallas Stars This Day in History segment. And I wanted to start with a mini dive on Jere Lehtinen and his Selke trophies, and really the award itself, because it's rather interesting, and maybe you'll learn some things along the way, or maybe you know this stuff right off the top of your head. But I enjoyed going in a bit deeper, looking at some more details. And Jere Lehtinen was one of my favorite all-time players. Also, I want to learn more about some Stars players before my time. I got to watch Jere Lehtinen towards the tail end of his career, but there's a lot of stuff I don't know about certain players, and maybe I'll pick one and just discuss them a bit further. But I want to talk about Jere Lehtinen. 875 career games, 243 goals, 514 points. He was drafted by Minnesota, 4th round, 88th overall in the 1992 NHL draft out of Espoo, Finland. Of course, in his two-way play was immediately a standout. 14 NHL seasons. Yes, he played all with the Dallas Stars. And I looked at the Selke Trophy and some of his victories. So he was a finalist for the Selke Trophy 5 times. 1996, 97 was the first time he became a finalist. He finished 3rd that season. 1997, 1998 season, and then you had 2001 and then 2002. Those were the 5 seasons he finished as a finalist for the Selke Trophy. Something that I thought was really curious. So the Selke Trophy has been given out 47 times in its history for the league's best two-way forward, right? Plays some great offense, but also really responsible on the back end. Only 9 times has a winger won this award. Only 9 times. And I believe, if my math is correct, the last 21 years, it could be more, but I believe it's 21 years, a center has won the Selke Trophy. They have dominated the Selke Trophy. Barkov, of course, has won the last 2 years with the Florida Panthers, but only 9 times out of the 47 has a winger won the position, and only 2 individual players have won it as a right winger. That is Jere Lehtinen, and that is it was Dick Graham in 1990-91 with the Chicago Blackhawks. Left wingers include Craig Ramsey and Bob Gainey. Those are only the 2 left wingers that have won the Selke Trophy. And Gainey won it in its inception and won it back-to-back. 4 straight years. That is the most consecutive amount of Selke Trophy wins for an individual player. Bob Gainey from 1977 to 1981. He dominated this. There's also only been, including Gainey, just 3 players to win it, or I should say, 3 players to win it. Or I think 2 players to win it 3 years in a row. Excuse me, that's where I was going there with that. Pavel Datsyuk has won it 3 years in a row from 07 to 10. obviously an amazing player with the Red Wings. And then you have, of course, Bob Gainey again. So one of two players has won it 3 times in a row. There's been multiple back-to-back winners, Rob Brindamore, Patrice Bergeron, who, of course, has won the most Selke trophies in its history, 6, has never won it 3 in a row, however. He, of course, had to deal with a lot of good players. You had Anze Kopitar was always in the mix. Of course, Barkov towards the latter half of his career. But he won it twice, a couple of times back-to-back, but he never won it 3 years in a row. But to regain this conversation or to revert it back to Jere Lehtinen. So he finished as a finalist in 1996-97. He finished 3rd behind Michael Pekka and Peter Forsberg. Then in 97-98, Lehtinen was one of those players that won it back-to-back. And the 97-98 season was his first Selke Trophy win, defeating Michael Pekka and Craig Conroy. 1998-99, he backed it up again. This time he beat Magnus Arvidsson from the Ottawa Senators, Michael Pekka from the Buffalo Sabres. You'll hear his name quite a bit throughout these years. His 3rd and final Selke Trophy came in 2002-03. He beat out John Madden and Wes Walz. Madden with the Devils and Walz with the Minnesota Wild. So he was a finalist 5 times, and he won it 3 times. And 3 times is nothing to scoff at as well. He's tied for the 3rd most Selke Trophy wins by an individual player with Datsuk and Carbonneau and Barkov now. They've all won 3. So Jere Lehtinen has put himself in a conversation with some of the greats of the game. And he doesn't have some of the larger numerical numbers that would get him in or make you a lock for the NHL Hall of Fame, which is unfortunate. He really is sort of the Hall of Very Good. He had more than 20 goals in a season 7 different times, scored over 30 goals in a season twice, and of course, always sacrificed his offense for the betterment of his defense and the betterment of the Dallas Stars as well. And he benefited from that. He won a Stanley Cup as well. But it was rather intriguing to just go through, look at some of the Selke Trophy history, and winning back-to-back times is nothing to scoff at. His bid for 3 straight would have been denied by Pekka in 96-97, where he was a finalist. In 99-2000, he was not a finalist. Steve Yzerman won the award and that. But since 2002-03, Lehtinen's the last winger to win the Selke Trophy. Can you believe that? The last winger? It's been all center icemen since then. And as I said, 9 out of the 47 winners have played wing, either left or right. So if you're a winger, you have a lot of ground to make up to prove yourself to win this award. And going through it as well, I think I only found 1 year where it was all wingers that were finalists. Let me go back and see if I can find that. I think it was all 3 finalists were wingers, and it's this year right here, 90-91. Dick Graham, who won it as a right wing. Then you had Esa Tikkanen and then Steve Lamar. Or Larmer. I may be butchering that with the Blackhawks. So the Blackhawks got 2 finalists. That's something there. And going through that, I think that's the only year. Okay, minus the first 2 years as well. So I was a bit wrong. But so the first 2 years when Bob Gainey won both, he had a couple of pairs of wings with him as well. But now it's a center-dominated award. And Jere Lehtinen won it 3 times, and that's nothing to scoff at. As well. Finals 5 different times, put up some really strong numbers. Maybe doesn't have the cumulative amount of numbers that you would like to win or to maybe turn some heads for the Hall of Fame, but had some strong postseason numbers as well, but nothing crazy, of course. And I think that almost is on brand for who Jere Lehtinen was. 49 points. He had 27 goals in 108 games played. That plus minus was a 2 right there. Not too bad. A positive 2. He only had 12 penalty minutes. But in 1998-99, of course, when the Stars won the Stanley Cup, how about this? A team high 23 games played, 8 even strength goals. That was a team high. That was a league high. So that tells you, I really didn't even realize this. Joe Nieuwendyk, again, this is where I kind of wanted to do this. Surprise me. Joe Nieuwendyk won the Conn Smythe. Maybe Belfour, of course, would have been in that conversation for what he did. Let's not overlook Jere Lehtinen. He scored 10 goals in that playoff run in the 23 games to win this. He scored 10 goals. 8 of those were even strength, which led the league. That's tremendous stuff from Jere Lehtinen. So I wanted to praise him, show him some love because he deserves it. He's one of my all-time favorite Dallas Stars. He was my favorite Dallas Star growing up. He was the first. And the player I always tried to model the game after. And there's a reason I'm doing this podcast and not playing the game of hockey. But I wanted to show some love that way. And maybe you learned a thing or two. And this is sort of the reason why I want to do these little deep dive segments for those of you on Locked On Stars, especially during these days when it's a bit light on news. We have some good stuff. But there you go. Maybe you liked it. Maybe you didn't. Let me know in the comments below. Alrighty, the Stars, some more news. Victory Plus, the Stars are actually teaming up with a local TV channel to bring you some more Dallas Stars games next season, which is great news. I'll tell you more about the deal in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by FanDuel. August 26th is the official FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, enjoying a long shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champ before week 1 even kicks off, this is your moment. You can take a flyer on the MVP race, crown your champion in August, or parlay your division winner with dark horses. Hockey season and football season are right around the corner, so get ready for FanDuel Futures Day on August 26th. Visit the FanDuel app today. Start planning your futures bets now because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game. So this was announced yesterday on Thursday, August 14th. Victory Plus and KDFW, Fox 4 and KDFI, More 27 are going to expand their partnership to deliver more Dallas Stars action for the 2025-26 season. It says here, Victory Plus is excited to announce a new broadcast partnership with KDFW, Fox 4 and KDFI, More 27. Bringing more Dallas Stars action to local TV viewers for the 2025-26 season. The arrangement will see a total of 17 Dallas Stars NHL games, including 15 regular season games and 2 preseason matchups. So remember that as well, Stars fans, because we've always had issues in years past, except for last year. We were able to actually watch some preseason games. I think they televised all of them. I could be mistaken. It wasn't always the best format. But they were toying with it, and it was just nice to see them broadcasting some of those preseason matchups. So 2 preseason matchups on local stations. KDFW, Fox 4 will air 9 games. KDFI, More 27 will air 8 games with exact matchups and dates to be confirmed. It says here, here's a quote, "More access to more fans is at the core of what Victory Plus offers, and we're thrilled to expand our relationship with Fox 4 and KDFI to offer 17 Dallas Stars games to the local community," said Neil Gruninger, president and CEO of APMC, the parent company of Victory Plus. This collaboration helps bring the excitement of Stars hockey into fans' homes, and we're proud to offer this as we continue to grow and engage with our audience. And of course, the Stars had a lot of success with Victory Plus. It was a big hit, offering Stars games for free last season. A bit of a risk, but I think it was something they hit out of the park. They did an excellent job, which is not too surprising. They have a great crew, broadcasting number one. Obviously, a very talented and a great crew in the trucks that are running behind the scenes and doing all of that. Technical issues, technical parts of the biz, of course, and did a phenomenal job. And this is just more easy ways for maybe even casual fans that are just scrolling on whatever cable they're using, cable product. There's, I don't know, hundreds of them now. Whatever streaming service you may be using, you can scroll by, maybe see a Stars game, and allow more casual fans to maybe get their eyeballs on the game. Like Stars fans, diehard Stars fans, I'm sure many of you that listen to this podcast, including myself, we're going to watch the games either way, no matter what they're on, even if we had to pay. But this allows the game, or at least allows Stars organizations, Stars in general, just to get some more eyeballs on them. I think that's going to be great. And the more accessible it is to watch, the better. I mean, talk about some of the issues just in baseball. Remember the Rangers? Good, they went to Victory Plus. In blackouts, like if you make it tough to watch games, no one's going to take the effort to do it. I don't want to sign up for two things and go through a bunch of loops just to watch a game. Especially somebody that maybe not be into sports as much as I am and more of a casual fan. You don't want to have to do a subscription and all that stuff. I just want to be able to go to whatever site or streaming device you like to use, boom, and then, it's on channel 4 tonight. And then you can watch the game. You don't have to worry. That's good stuff. So good on the Stars and good on some of the local networks that they feel it's worth it enough to carry these games, 17 games for next season. So I'll be curious to just see what the kind of numbers are like too, some of the feedback that the Stars get and overall numbers on certain game days for next season. We'll have to keep an eye on that in 25-26, but wanted to share some of that information for those of you out there as well that are taking in Locked On Stars on this Friday, kicking you off into your weekend. Always want to thank you for the love and support on today's episode. That's going to wrap up today's show. Back in Corpus Christi, as I mentioned last week or so, we're just over a month away from starting our season, which is very exciting, September 19th. So we're kind of hitting the ground running. A lot of good momentum here in South Texas, and really, really excited for that season to start. Just a heads up, last year, I know it was sort of wonky with my schedule. Our schedule for games with the Ice Race was so crazy last year. It became tough some nights just to be able to do some episodes right after games and get them out in a timely fashion. I'll say this, my weekends are going to be covered, of course, but it's a much softer schedule that I think it'll allow me to be much more on top of a regular schedule than it maybe was a little bit last year. I did my best to adhere to it, but this season, I think a lot more time. The management of being able to get out things timely is going to be a lot better. So I am looking forward to that. Just looking forward to the hockey season in general with the Stars or the Ice Race. So enough rambling for me. Please be sure to subscribe. Drop a comment below. Let me know if you like the deep dive segment or anything of that nature. You'd like me to do a little bit more for that. I really, really enjoyed it there. And we'll continue to pump out some more stuff for you as training camp and all that good stuff is right around the corner. Have a great rest of your weekend, Stars fans. We'll see you next Monday. So long.